So today's topic is narration. Narration is also called direct and indirect speech, and it is also called reported speech. Narration in a nutshell means to tell a story. When we view narration as direct and indirect speech, it means that somebody had said something and you are telling that, again telling of the story, you are telling that as it was told by that person. Suppose there is student A, there is student B, and then there is student C. So student A told student B something, and whatever student A had told the B, then the B conveys it to the student C. So when student B conveys whatever A had told him or her in exact words, that will be direct speech. If B tells C what A had told in his or her own words, that will be indirect speech. And you will see that as far as reported speech, narration or direct indirect speech are concerned, mostly we use them in written communication. The function of narration or direct indirect speech, or what we call reported speech, is generally in the written form. To narrate means to tell a story, and direct speech means exact repetition of somebody else's sentences or words. Let's see the example. Chintu Kumar is a schoolboy, and now look at the dialogue box. Chintu Kumar is saying, I bring lunch every day. This statement we will convey in the direct speech. We will write it like this: Chintu says, and then we will add a comma. After the comma, we will use the double inverted commas over here, and then whatever was spoken by Chintu, that we keep as it is, and then because we need to close the sentence, that's why we use here the full stop, and after that we close the inverted commas. How it appears, this you need to also pay attention. Now we will convert what Chintu Kumar had said into indirect speech. Indirect speech means you report somebody else's statement, words, sentences in your own words. When we say in your own words, that does not mean that somebody had said, I bring lunch every day. So you cannot make it, I bring breakfast every day. In your own words means that you are not using the direct words that he had said. You report somebody else's sentences, words, or statements in your own words. Now we will convert Chintu's statement into indirect speech. We use the example of Pinky Kumari, who is Chintu's classmate, this little young girl. So she now conveys what Chintu had said in indirect speech, not in the direct. She says, Chintu says that he brings lunch every day. Bring lunch every day. This is what he had said. So now we will see what are the changes which have been made while converting direct speech into indirect speech. This is the first statement in direct speech which Chintu had made. Chintu says, then we added this comma. After the comma, we added in this red circle inverted commas, and then we put the statement, I bring lunch every day. After that, we use the full stop here, and after full stop, we use the inverted commas. So Chintu says, comma, inverted comma start, I bring lunch every day. This is the statement you place. Then you complete the sentence by full stop, and after that, you close the direct statement into the inverted commas. You use the closing of the comma, and now see how this direct speech was made into indirect speech. Then we lift this Chintu says from direct speech, we lift it up as it is here, but we don't add this comma of the direct speech. We delete the comma of direct speech and then add that. Chintu says that. After that, there are some changes that we have to make. So this inverted comma of the direct speech, we remove this, and the subject in the statement change as the direct speech is changed into indirect speech. So this I is converted into he. These persons will change. I we convert into he, because now subject in the indirect speech has become he. That's why the form of verb also will change. It remains the first form of verb, but since the sentence in the direct speech was in present indefinite tense, I bring lunch every day, that's why when subject becomes he or she, the rule of present indefinite tense will be applied, because we've done the tenses. So rule is when subject is he, she, it or singular nouns, then you add s or es after the first form of verb. That's why, because it is he, I has been converted into he. That's why it becomes brings, not bring. So bring is changed into brings, and then rest is same. Lunch every day. Then place the full stop and no inverted commas. Now let us see what we need to pay attention while changing from direct to indirect or indirect to direct. While making the changes, the things that we need to pay attention to is punctuation. So what are the punctuation? Comma, inverted commas, full stop. You also need to pay attention to conjunction. For instance, linking words like that. Pay attention to inverted commas, and also pay attention to pronouns, persons or nouns, because they might also change. For instance, I was converted into he. You pay attention to that also, and you pay attention to forms of verb also, because forms of verb will also change as dependent on subject. And another thing that you need to pay attention to is that direct and indirect speech follows the same rule which you learned in the tenses. Next section that we pay attention to is context and situation. This is also an important thing that you need to pay attention to while making changes from direct to indirect and indirect to direct. Pay attention to this student called Mohan Singh. So Mohan Singh makes a statement, I will not go to the eco park next week. Over here, emphasis is place. So what is the place? School. In this statement, we are focusing on place. Okay. And the time of the statement is some time ago. And now this statement was made in front of Mohan Singh's classmate, Meena Paul. Now, this statement was conveyed to another person called, another classmate of theirs called Ronnie E. And Meena Paul will convey the statement of her classmate Mohan Singh to Ronnie E. Now she makes the statement, Mohan said he will not come here this week. So over here, because it was Mohan Singh's statement was some time ago, so next week. And here she uses the this week, and she makes the statement at Eco Park and in the present now. So place is Eco Park and the time is now. And then Ronnie says, okay. So these are two statements. What you need to pay attention to is place and the time over here. First statement is at school some time ago, and second statement, conveyance of that statement is at Eco Park, which is now. Now let us analyze this. In the Chintu Kumar's statement, we started the complete sentence including direct statement etc. with Chintu says, but we can start the statement other way around also. So we are starting with the inverted commas. See this statement. I will first read out the statement. I will not go to the Eco Park next week, said Mohan. We just have done the other way around in the direct speech. So this direct speech starts with the inverted commas, and then Mohan Singh's statement is written, I will not go to the Eco Park then next week. After that, we are not using the full stop, we are using the comma. After that, when the statement is over, we are using the comma, not like Chintu Kumar's statement, because over there complete statement had started Chintu says. Because how will we get to know that whatever is given here is reported? You get to know whether something is reported when we see the words that somebody said this, somebody says this, Chintu says. The sentence is not complete because we don't know whether it is reported speech. So in order to show that, we use here the comma, and after that the inverted commas, and after that, without putting the direct speech and the sign to those words which convey that it is a reported speech, this entire is one sentence. You see it as a sentence. That's why now full stop is coming over here. So statement starts with inverted comma, and then the statement, I will not go to the Eco Park next week. Then you put a comma. After that, you close the inverted commas and then write the sign through those words which convey that it is a reported speech, said Mohan, and then the full stop. Entire sentence is closed here with the full stop after the person. And now let us see how we convert it into indirect speech. We lift this said Mohan and convert it, put it in the first in indirect speech, and we don't write said Mohan. because that will not be correct way of writing a sentence. We will rather write Mohan said. And sometimes you will also see that the connecting word is missing. So in this indirect speech, connecting word is not there. So you need to pay attention to that places also where the connecting word will come, where it will not come. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it does not come. There is no hard and fast rule. There is no clear-cut rule about it. Mohan said, after that, this I will be converted because you are conveying. Okay, I is converted into he. Mohan said he will not. This will not will be remaining same. Will not. Now go changes into come. Why we have changed go into come? Because when Mohan made the statement was made at school. So from school, the person will go to some other place. Okay, from Mohan's perspective, it was said. Over here, Meena Paul is conveying Mohan's statement. It is not Mohan who is saying go. And the second thing is this, that this statement, as we know, the place is Eco Park. When Mohan's statement is conveyed by Meena Paul, then the place is Eco Park. That's why come is used here, not go. Go is replaced by come, because from here, from Eco Park's perspective, from Meena Paul's perspective, who is right now at Eco Park, you will not say go, you will say come, because someone will come here. From my perspective, you need to think of making statements, sentences in this way also. From whose side the statement has been made, from which place the statement has been made. Otherwise, you will confuse the things. So the verb go is converted into come because it is from this side, and because they are at Eco Park itself at the moment while Mohan's statements is reported by Meena Paul. That's why Eco Park will be converted into here, because they are right here at the Eco Park. So Eco Park is converted into here, and then the next week is converted into this week, and then you complete the sentence with the full stop. So it is slightly complicated, but it is not, if you will just pay a little bit of attention. So you pay attention to context. What is the context in which a statement was made, or what was the situation, or what was the place? For instance, school, Eco Park, here. You also need to pay attention to time in direct and indirect speech. Some time ago, now, next week, this week, and also pay attention to all the points which we had made in Chintu Kumar's example. Now, let us see, there are some rules also. And as usually, you need to also remember that although there are rules, but those rules are not the ultimate thing. The rules are there, but there are exceptions also. Rules are changeable. Sometimes these rules change. So for instance, rules about changes of pronoun and persons, first person, second person, etc. Because when you change from direct to indirect or indirect to direct, these things will change. For instance, I, me, my, mine, you, your, yours. So these kind of pronouns and persons will change to him, his, her, hers. And another set of change of pronouns, etc. will be we, us, our, ours, you, your, yours, and then they will be changed into they, their, theirs. Now let us see further changes that you need to keep in mind. For instance, changes of time and place. If in one type of speech there is today, then you convert it into that day. If yesterday comes, then the day before. While converting from one type of speech to another type of speech. If the day before yesterday comes, then you convert it into 2 days before. If tomorrow comes, then you convert it into the next day or the following day. If the day after tomorrow comes, then you convert it into in 2 days time or 2 days later. Let us see more changes related to time and place. So above was place and now the time. For instance, if next week, next month or next year comes, then you change it into, while changing from one type of speech to another, you change these into the following week, the following month, the following year. If last week, last month, last year comes, then you change it into the previous week, the previous month, the previous year. If ago comes, then you change it into before. If this comes and this is used as to indicate time, then you change it into that. And if this or that comes as adjective, if this or that comes as adjective, then you convert it into the. And if the word here comes, then you convert it into there. These are some of the basic changes related to time and place. Now we come to the usage in the tenses. First is the present indefinite tense. So the present indefinite tense will be changed into past indefinite tense. If the direct speech is in present indefinite tense, then you change it into past indefinite tense. Let us see the example of this female sprinter. The female sprinter says, I run for 6 kilometers every day. So the statement in this dialog box is in the present indefinite tense. I run for 6 kilometers every day. Now we will first put it in direct speech. We start with the inverted commas and then write the statement, I run for 6 kilometers every day. And then we use the comma over here. After that, the inverted commas over here. And then because we know that the sprinter is female, we just wrote she said and then full stop. Our sentence is complete. Now we convert it into indirect speech. Pick this one, she said, and we put it here, okay, in the beginning. She said, and then we use the connecting word that. After that, now the change is see, because the direct speech, the subject was I, and this direct speech is conveyed by you, for instance. So you will change I into she, because you know the sprinter is a she. If the sprinter was a male sprinter, so you would have changed it into he. So you are telling about that person. She said that I is converted into she. She, and now the first form run is converted into second form ran. She said that she ran for 6 kilometers every day. Full stop. So rest is the same. 6 kilometers, that is same. The changes came in the subject and in the verb over here, and some changes of punctuation and others. When we convert it into indirect speech, we write she said that she ran for 6 kilometers every day. This is how you are telling somebody else what that female sprinter told you. That's why it is narration. Second is present continuous tense. We see the present continuous tense will be converted to past continuous tense. So the young boy says or thinks in his mind, Dad is sleeping on the couch. Now first we will put it in the direct speech. So let's imagine that the name of this boy is Monty. So Monty said, then we use the comma, okay. After that, inverted commas, okay, and then we write the statement, the direct speech of Monty, Dad is sleeping on the couch. Then we finish it by completed by full stop, and then the inverted commas close. After that, we converted it into indirect speech. We just simply lift it up from here. Monty said, then use the connecting word that, and after that, because we know that it is Monty, okay, and we are speaking from our perspective, that's why this word Monty will represent his. So Monty is also converted here as his, because we need to tell whose dad. So his dad, because we already are talking about Monty. This is the name which was used, and then the same person is converted in the pronoun his. So Monty said that his dad was sleeping on the couch, and then full stop. So is sleeping is converted into was sleeping. So this is of present continuous is converted into past continuous was. So his dad was sleeping on the couch. Full stop. This is the next tense. Present perfect changes to past perfect. As simple as that. Teacher says some students have slept in the class. In the sentence, we believe that teacher has observed it. So we start with the inverted commas and we write the statement what this teacher said. Some students have slept in the class. Then we use comma, and after that inverted commas, and then finish it by the teacher observed. The teacher observed has been imagined by us if there was just a dialogue here. Okay, so the teacher observed, and then the full stop to complete the entire sentence. Now we convert it into the indirect speech. So this, the teacher observed, we lift it from here and then we place it here. The teacher observed that, and then we start with here, some students had slept. Have here is converted into had. Form of verb remains the same. Okay, the teacher observed that some students had slept in the class, and then the full stop. Present perfect is converted into past perfect. Okay, have slept converted into had slept. Rest remain the same. Now we come to another tense, present perfect continuous. So the present perfect continuous will be converted into past perfect continuous. One of the consumers at the end, she says, we have been waiting in line since 10 in the morning. So this is the present perfect continuous tense. Now we will convert it into first the direct speech. Suppose this consumer's name is Runu, and Runu is pointing out. All this element has been imagined by us correctly, not incorrectly. So many things you need to imagine yourself. If you get the dialogue like this, Runu pointed out, then comma, then inverted comma start, and then her sentence, we have been waiting in line since 10 in the morning, and then full stop, and then close the inverted comma. Now we will convert it into indirect speech. Runu pointed out remains the same. Then we add that, and after that this we will be converted into they. Now this indirect speech is not from the perspective of Runu. This indirect speech is from the perspective of you or me. Okay, that's why we are reporting these people. So when we are reporting these people, when we are reporting what Runu had said, okay, so we have to convert we into they. Remember the rule over there. Okay, so we is converted into they, and then had been waiting. Have been waiting is converted into had been waiting in line since 10 in the morning, and then full stop. And then when there is past indefinite tense, you convert past indefinite tense into past perfect tense. Now there are other elements also. For instance, how do you change interrogative sentences? So interrogative sentences, you change from direct to indirect, indirect to direct. We will see their example also. A postman is asking these children about somebody's address. Where does Mr. Das live? So remember, this is a present indefinite tense. The statement here is present indefinite tense. Now we will first put it in the direct speech. We start with the inverted commas and write what the postman has told. Where does Mr. Das live? And because this is interrogative sentence, that's why full stop is not there, but sentence is completed with interrogative mark. And then we use the inverted commas. Where does Mr. Das live? Okay, then inverted commas. And also you should pay attention that we did not use comma here. Why we did not use comma? Because the sentence is in interrogative. That's why. To show the interrogative, you cannot use comma. Although by practice, by convention, we have been using comma here when this kind of a sentence is made. We did not use that. If we see the teacher's example, so over here we use the comma, okay, and then we use the closing inverted commas, right? So that case will not be in the interrogative sentences because the sentence is in interrogative. Okay, that's why this question mark will remain here. But since we know that what we are reporting, that sentence is not completed, that's why this A will remain in small letters, not in capital, because this is part of this sentence. Direct speech and whatever comes after that is making a complete sentence. That's why. So after this, after closing the direct speech, we just write a postman asked children, and then we complete the entire sentence with full stop. Okay. Now we will convert it into indirect speech. So we lift it up from here. A postman asked. We are not using any connecting word like that. Okay. A postman asked children. And why we are also not using, because when the verb is ask. So over there you will not use that. I ask you. I ask Mona Lisa who painted you. Okay. So in this way, I ask that Mona Lisa, that will not be a correct way of asking. So a postman asks children. Okay, that's why that is missing here. A postman asks children, and then this where you will pick it up and write over here. A postman asks children where, and then the rest, Mr. Das lived, and then full stop. So postman is asking of that place where Mr. Das lives. So because this was in present indefinite tense, direct speech was in present indefinite tense, you have converted it to past indefinite tense, and past indefinite tense is represented by the second form of verb, which is live, not live. Now let us see another example. When the question is not in WH family, where, why, when, then you need to use either if or whether. This woman is asking, do you speak English? Let's imagine that this female is Sunita, okay, and this person is Ramesh. So Sunita asked Ramesh, because the statements are in interrogative sentences, that's why the verb ask will be used almost like compulsorily. Okay, Sunita asked Ramesh, comma, then inverted comma start, do you speak English? Then the statement is closed by interrogative mark, which is question mark, and then you close everything with inverted commas. Now we have made indirect speech from the perspective of Ramesh, not from your perspective, not from my perspective, but from the perspective of Ramesh. That's why the change is different. Sunita asked me. So this Ramesh is converted into me because it is Ramesh himself who is reporting what Sunita had asked him. Sunita asked me, so this Ramesh is converted into me. Sunita asked me, and then because the interrogative sentence is not having WH family, that's why we want to use if over here or whether. Okay, Sunita asked me if, and then this you will be converted into I. Okay, because from the perspective of Ramesh, this indirect speech is created. Okay, so this you is converted into I. If I, and then first form of verb is converted into second form. If I spoke English, and then full stop. Next is a conversation between a mother and a daughter. So mother asks here, is it raining outside, Debbie? So the daughter's name is Debbie. So she's asking her daughter, is it raining outside? Now first we will convert it into the direct speech. We begin with direct speech. Inverted comma start here, and then is it raining outside, comma, Debbie, and then interrogative mark. And after that, inverted commas close. And then we complete the sentence, mom asked, full stop. Supposedly this interrogative mark is the full stop, okay, which completes one sort of sentence, but we are not taking it as a sentence in itself, rather we are taking this entire thing as a sentence. That's why direct speech, after direct speech or before direct speech, we will have to use the capitalization rule. So because mom is coming after Debbie and others, that's why M of mom is not capitalized. Okay, mom asked, full stop. And then in indirect speech, we will start with mom asked. Over here, M is capital. Okay, mom asked, and we are converting it from Debbie's perspective. That's why mom asked me. Okay, this Debbie is converted into me. If, because it has started with is, so again WH family is not there. So if there was WH family, then we would have used that WH family. Okay, so mom asked me if now is it raining. Over here it means it is in present tense, okay, or present continuous tense. Okay, present continuous tense, so it will be converted into past continuous tense. Mom asked me if it was raining outside, and then full stop. Now next is a dialogue by a valet or a person who stands outside the gate of a restaurant and welcomes the guest, and if the guests have some car or something, then the valet takes the keys and parks it. So valet is asking the customers, did you come by car? So it is sort of inquiry. That's why we have imagined it as inquire. Okay. So in direct speech, we will start with the valet inquired and then comma, then inverted comma start. Did you come by car? And then interrogative mark. After that, we will close the inverted commas. The valet inquired, did you come by car? And when we change it into indirect speech, then again we will start from the valet inquired. The valet inquired, and after that whether, and then this did will be converted into I, because again we are converting it from the perspective of the person to whom the question has been asked. So the valet inquired whether I had come by car. So because it is in past indefinite tense, that's why it has been converted into past perfect tense. Okay, so had and then the third form of verb, come. Okay, if I had come by car, and then full stop. So the classmate is asking, what is your name? In the direct speech, we convert it as Robert asks, because his name is Robert. Okay, Robert asked the new girl in class, comma, and then the direct speech within inverted commas, what is your name? And then we close it by interrogative mark, and then finally with inverted commas. And when we convert it into indirect speech, we start with, because again this is the indirect speech is from the perspective of the girl. Okay, so Robert asked me what my name was. Okay, so because it is in the present, is stands for present, that's why we have converted it into past. Okay, Robert asked me what, and then your will change into my, what my name was. When the direct speech is an interrogative sentence, then while converting it into indirect speech, you're not supposed to convert it into interrogative. Okay, so over here, what my name is not, what my name was is not interrogative sentence. Okay, it is an affirmative. Okay, so Robert asked me what my name was, full stop. Now next is a dialogue between a cat and a mouse. Cat asks the mouse, where do you live? In the direct speech, we write it like this. We start with the direct speech within inverted commas. Where do you live? Question mark, and then we close the inverted commas. The cat asked the mouse, full stop. Then in the indirect speech, the cat asked the mouse where it lived. Okay, so the cat asked the mouse. This is in present indefinite, so we will convert it into past indefinite. The cat asked the mouse where it lived. Why we have used it rather than you? Because we are not converting it from the perspective of the mouse. Okay, that's why we use the it. We don't use he or she for animals, we use it for them, so that's why it is used here. The cat asked the mouse where it lives. Over here, this is simply picked up here. The cat asked the mouse. After that, we pick up where, and then we know that this u stands for the mouse, and the mouse is singular. That's why this u will be converted into it, and then the second form of live. Live here gets converted into the second form, lived. Okay, where it lived. Last example is dinner table in a family. So the father is asking, when can I have dinner? We will first put it in direct speech. So dad, we imagine that this person is a dad, this woman is a mom, and all these are being made from the perspective of the children. Dad asked mom, comma, and then inverted comma start, and then we write the direct speech. We start with the capital letter. When can I have dinner? We close it by interrogative mark and then close the inverted commas. And then we simply convert it. This we will pick up. Dad asked mom, and then we will pick up when. When this I is now going to be converted into he. Why? Why? Because we are converting it from the perspective of the children. Okay, so you need to pay attention to this aspect. that from whose perspective the direct speech is being converted into indirect speech. In accordance with the perspective, the changes will come in different persons and pronouns. That's why I here is changed into he, and can gets changed as could, and rest remains the same, because after models like can, could, we use the first form of verb. Okay, so when here becomes when, I becomes he, and then can becomes could. Okay, because this is in present. Okay, here the can is shown, can is used, that's why we can see that it is in present. And when we use could, we should imagine that it is in past. But could as a model can also be used in the present, but over here it is in the past. When he could have dinner, and then full stop.
To support free education for all, please like, share, and subscribe to Free Academy. Thank you.